All right, attempt number 2. It's probably a good thing there's only 2 of these today because I don't want to have to crash too often. One and all, welcome back to the Age of Empires 4 action. It's a $1,000 team game tournament hosted by Clearman from the Vietnamese community. We got Fields of Blood, and we are into the second week of games. On the west side of this, we are going to have the Vietnamese squad, which is made up of Mio Micah. Wait, okay, that's a weird spawn. Yes, this is Mio Micah. You've got Vuvavan. This is Lumber. And then finally, we've got Kyo over here. And then on the east side, it is going to be AI, Diakusi, who most of you will be familiar with, as well as Mizuumi. And then there's Popo, who made a recent appearance in a free-for-all tournament hosted by Clearman as well, where he actually had a really cool game. So yeah, this is the Vietnamese team versus the Japanese team. In fact, let me get the predictions up for you guys, because of course we had a remake. So I do want to refund the points and allow you guys to go again. So we've got left team is going to be the Vietnamese squad. Right is going to be the Japanese. You can do your votes now. So yeah, unfortunately, basically we had a crash. The crash actually came from Diakusi in that last game. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. It's just one of those issues, and this is why I'm really hopeful that we not too long of a way ahead of us, fingers crossed, get a reconnect function. I mean, we've got a pause function coming. It only took 3 years, so by that maths, we should probably have a reconnect function in 3 more years. Hopefully a lot sooner. I think the devs really have stepped up, ramped up development in certain ways. Like, we have a reconnect function and a siege rework coming in one season. So my hopes is by maybe season 11 at latest, maybe season 12 at a stretch, we start to see a reconnect function to partner up with that pause function, because that is when it will become really helpful. Can the Observer UI crash the game? It can, actually. That's a good question from Trazzle. The UI overlays have been known to, on occasion, cause people's games to crash. So this is like another layer to the cake. And this is a big reason why you don't see many team tournaments, by the way. It's all about points of failure, right? If you have 8 players instead of 2, statistically, the likelihood of you having remakes from crashes is 4 times higher, right? So like it makes sense when you think about it that way. And also it makes it much harder to usually call a game in most cases, unless you're like 20 minutes plus deep. But if you consider like a crash is more likely to occur the later you go into a game, getting to that past that 20 minutes where you can call a team game, you can see the issues that develop. But yeah, really big shout out to Clearman for actually getting $1,000 together for this, man. It's really hard to fund team tournaments in particular, because realistically, like, you're thinking about it, the interest is lower. I think actually Vietnam and China are the 2 countries that have an insanely high interest in team tournaments, right? The West, Europe, America, have always been more driven towards the 1v1 environments. So let's see how they spawn, because I think last time, did they guarantee the same spawn out? Yes, they did. So AI and Diakusi are going to be the flank players. And on the other side, it's going to be Mio Micah in the orange. And then, oh wait, no, difference here. Kyo did not spawn in the center. So this is tricky. They've got HRE, which is meant to be the booming civ, but now they're in a kind of forward position, a little bit more exposed. And unfortunately for them, it also means that the Mongol player is right next to them. Yeah, this is not ideal, folks. HRE is OP. They can beat pretty much any civ, sure. But when you're playing a team game, your goal isn't to go full feudal and win like that, because feudal in team games is all about cav civs, which HRE is not. So his goal was to rush castle and then race relics. This is huge, though. This delay is going to enable Mizuumi. Mizuumi is playing Ayyubids. He's lightly going for a fast castle build here. And before the remake, we did get a glimpse of what's going to be coming. It's probably going to be the Culture Wing again. Culture Wing is sick. It gives you 3 dervishes, which is allowing you to immediately contest the relics. But I also said that I really rate this highly with cav civs on your team. For example, French, because then you have Chivalry heal and the Dervish AoE heal, because whenever you pick logistics, the AoE heal isn't toggleable anymore. It's permanent. Diakusi didn't switch things up, though. So last game, he did go Council Hall. I still think Abiv Kings is a lot better. But if he's trying to play more greedy, he doesn't want to have to worry about building double archery range, right? That's 300 wood that could have been going to farms instead. So I understand this sentiment. I do think there's a missed opportunity here, though. Elsewhere, we've got another big switch up. Yeah, so before the remake, Green went for a Deer Stone play. And this game, because he's spawned on the opposite side to the trade post, we've actually got him going for a Silver Tree. I understand the sentiment and the desire to go trade, but this is more than a little bit greedy, I feel like. you're up against French plus Delhi. You've got an H3 player already, and you're going to kind of be playing greed. While you've also got, you know, an Ayyubid player who's going to be looking to be greedy. So, like, if you break it down, Japan has 3 greedy players now, right? Silver Tree to boom. DQC, although he went Council Hall, does not play aggressive. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him on the ladder, but he kind of built up a reputation as a TC boomer and late game player, English spammer. In fact, he has 1,500 games on English at this stage. It's kind of ludicrous. And even though he's gone Council Hall, I'm expecting him to hunker down because the map is so big. So that leaves Popo as the only player who can aggro. Guys, oh my god, yeah. It's a full triple tech up. Because I believe Mizuumi, is he going to be teching? No, okay, I'm getting baited by this ridiculous overlay. He's actually massing into Desert Raiders. So they have a switch up, right? Because last game, Dikusu was being greedy, but I don't think he was rushing Castle at this point in the game. It was a lot later, right? He set up additional farms. Instead, this time around, though, it's going to be the 2 TC play that he's most comfortable with. Other side of the map, we have got Desert Raiders pressuring on the Ford Golds. Already a little bit of punishment coming to Lumber, who has gone for that Eco Wing free TC Abbasid build. Isn't Khan Hunter more valuable in team games? Yes, because it's doing something it shouldn't right now. It's not meant to give extra range to allies. So, little tip to people, like that is unintended behavior for obvious reasons. Considering a Khan Hunter can help longbows, for example. There's a little bit of pressure coming in. This is an interesting spot to try and harass. If it wasn't for the outpost here, they could even take this fight against the Knights because Desert Raiders could kind of chip away at the sides. I'm curious, how did you guys vote? 84% in favor of the Vietnamese squad. Not surprising. I think they are one of the front runners. Vietnam just is on another level when it comes to large team format games. I'd say the 2v2 formatting is more balanced between players in the West and players in the East. But when you get into 3v3s and 4v4s, we typically do see these Vietnamese squads performing incredibly well. And yeah. Well, if you think about it, the Khan Hunter behavior has some really weird things, guys. So, for example, the Khan Hunter can buff Delhi's elephant's tusk range. I don't know if you guys knew that, but that's actually a thing. Oh, I shouldn't have told you that now. Team games are about to be ruined. Anyway, oh, Prelate? Oh, he can't get it back. Beautiful blocker there by Green. Kyo, that's his first relic, right? Yeah, he's getting starved. So last game, okay, he got one over here. Last game, I think he had 4. When we had the DC, and that was still a few minutes ahead of now, but this is kind of a rough situation. He should be able to get the other one back home. But he's quite pinned, and this is important because elsewhere, Mizuumi, wow, he switches tech completely. It's no longer logistics. He's going full reinforcement. So they've changed priorities. They're not interested in this relic race anymore, which means they're going to have to play a lot more aggressive. I mean, eventually the Mongol player will be able to enable that further, right? Like with the trade being set up, I imagine we'll be looking at Keshiks down the line. Meanwhile, Vuvavan, the assistance of Miyamaika, able to brush away the French Knights here. Kind of tricky when you retreat because the Ghazi can chip away at the heavily injured Knights. So you want to make sure you kind of almost stagger your formation to get the healthy Knights further away. And that ugly fight here has to defend himself. The dive starts to come in. Elsewhere, the pin is still in place here. You can see that Kyo is not getting much gold off the map. He's pretty much locked to the passive gold. He has got the gold on the backside here, but it's already down to 2,000. I think he has got some back here, though, and yes, it has been scoured. So plenty of resources to just fall back towards, and I feel like actually Teal and Green need to get a move on. Camping here is not achieving enough. Carthage now on the way on the west side, so it's not just going to be Kyo. We actually do have Miyamaika on the Delhi making his way up in Age 3. House of London, of course, going to be the go-to choice in conjunction with the Dome of Faith. And this is pretty cool, actually, because once you get the techs in, Honed Blades allows you to kind of contest French Knights as long as they don't get Royal Institute, right? Because the Cantor Saddles is pretty sick, gives you plus 10 damage for 3 strikes. But over a prolonged period, the Honed Blades can kind of balance that out. It will still be a slight edge for French Knights, but the overwhelming advantage they have isn't going to be as apparent. I think that's where we're going here, right? There's no way it's going to be Mahoots. There's no way it's going to be... oh my god, Elefante Funtime third? I mean, in fairness, the remaining aren't that much more desirable, right? Outside maybe the mosques. So the reason why you can't do elephants here is the map is too big. If you build elephants, you'd be too slow to respond. I think elephants, you can just about get away with them in 3v3s, but in 4v4s, you need stone walls first. Ram's coming up now from green. Looks like he is really trying to send it in this age, which is intriguing considering he started trading. Only 3 so far, though. I think there's some harassment on the backside, so a few traders getting lost there. I believe Lumber should be ready to take up soon, right? He's starting to stockpile a bit, but I don't think he's in a rush here. Remember, we've seen Camel Archers is the go-to for the Abbasids here. It's kind of intriguing to me, though, considering there's so many cavalry units. I feel like actually just spamming Camel Riders would be a lot better long-term for Abbasids. It's about now presence rather than later. Blue Knights, in the meantime, are going to ride in. Miyamaka forced to defend, has got more Ghazi coming home, and those initial Lancers are doing a good job absorbing blows alongside the men-at-arms, so good chip damage done there by Popo, but not enough to allow him to hang around here. He has to back away. Even on the east side, look at the size of this army right now. Counterattack is coming in, though. Yellow and purple both coming in to defend Kyo. Archers are going to have to be sacrificed here. The Desert Raiders are able to start to step away, but they aren't going to melee form. And also, the Camel Archers are a perfect counter here. Remember, the Desert Raiders are low HP, high resistance in melee. They have 0 ranged armor. And this is cool from Mizumi, but I'm hesitant to say it's going to be enough here. The men-at-arms are absorbing a lot of shots as well. As you can see, they're only doing 9 damage, and of course, 5 of that is mitigated by the men-at-arms. Knights, in the meantime, just jumping on top of those archers. It looks like the Desert Raiders are now trying to react here. Remember, these are only age 2 Yellow Knights. But if he goes in for a charge, the sandwich would kill him, so he needs to be a little bit hesitant about the commitment. Yellow will now just look to break away. Yeah, this is getting a little bit rough. Vuvovan is now making his way up, as is Lumber. This is about to be quadruple age 3 versus double age 3. And not just that, they're economically ahead in a lot of ways, right? Like, they've got more relics coming home now. You've got, what, 2 so far? He can now play for a 3rd and a 4th. That's now on the agenda, considering they have removed the stranglehold around Red's base. Along the backside. He's going to force a retreat. Should allow him to pinch a knight or 2 here. Wait, that's DQC. I'm an idiot. Okay. Little tip for future, warm colors, cold colors. We've got a weird mix here, so apologies for that, folks. Looks like the orange forces are going to arrive, though, to address the threat coming in. It's a 2v1, so Miyamaka's got his work cut out right now, but theoretically, there should be return fire elsewhere. Instead, it looks like his allies are running across the map to try and relieve him. Villagers are going to be able to shuffle away in the midst of it. Okay, this is good. I don't think we've got a snowbally GG game, right? Like, both sides are kind of locking in now, so this is going to drag, I think, a decent amount later. AI is still a problem, though. Green doesn't have, as it is for most people's industries right now. Anyway, Green is kind of in a struggling position here, right? He's still age 2. All attention has been drawn west side, but that means in a one-on-one, Kyo can run him through here with men-at-arms spam. First wave is already starting to arrive. Yeah, I'll talk to Clearman between game 1 and 2 about getting this addressed. I think he should probably be recommending the players to share their colors. I.e., it would be yellow, orange, pink, and green? Or teal? It'd be teal, right? Because warm colors. No, red. And then purple, blue, teal, and green. Royal Institute now on the way. So Pop-Up, wait, how many knights? Okay, he only has 9 knights. This is really underwhelming. This is a sad, sad French player right now. Other side of it, Vuvovan not doing much better, only at 10 knights. Did he go for it as well? He went 2 TC plus Royal Institute. So I actually like Vuvovan's position a lot better. He has some scalability to get more knights online in the coming minutes. Yeah, overall, I think Japan's in a really bad place right now. Not just the Civ game, but the team here. It's about to get a lot worse. Red starting to dive in now. Not much of the army left for AI. Green only has 6 archers in total. And also, these Camel Lancers are not going to be able to deal with the men-at-arms. Yeah, this is going to get rough. On the backside of this, remember, he's trying to set up trade, but that's going to take time. He's only at 9 currently. A long way to run to make any return on investment here. There's growing risk that he's going to get intercepted as he builds up the Kurultai. It is going to be a rush, though. 22 villages will get it online. But this is the issue, right? You've built the Kurultai where you're building trade. Red is always going to be gunning for this location. Luckily, he will at least get it up. I don't know what purpose is going to serve here. Berkshire is going to be on the way from pink. He's going to forward it. That's going to secure the 8k. So it looks like Diakusi is alive. And before the remake, we talked about Diakusi's playstyle being about him surviving long enough to do something, right? Which is kind of wild in this format. Like, you have a Mongol player trading. You have an Ayyubid player who should be fast castling. Diakusi probably felt like he couldn't do any real pressure because the map's so big. But I still go back to the Abbey of Kings, man. I think that could have mattered a lot for the early game momentum here. The Council Hall really hasn't done anything. I mean, English food is fine, right? He's got 43 food workers. He's fine to age up here, guys. He kind of needs to, because he needs to start doing something real. And so far, he hasn't really been doing that. He got one good hit onto Miyamaika. Since then, it's just been chill. French or French. A true battle to show mastery. Yellow says, no, I don't like the Ego Chow. This Popo guy's a psycho. I've seen what he does in free-for-alls. Yeah, an ugly fight as well from Vuvovan. Great pinch there. Popo just kind of min-maxing his picks. Also, sticking himself in position here to just kind of hold the gold. Unfortunately, the second wave coming in has scared him away. So Vuvovan now able to block all gold supply. Despite Popo's great micro there, he now has a fundamental issue, and that's going to be gold access. He could run out to the flanks, but the idle time alone would kill you in the mirrored situation, and it's much worse than that. Camel Archers come in. Guys, like, we need to talk about this unit. I feel like every single video featuring Abbasids, I rant about this. This is not okay. 32 Camel Archers. Oh my god. This is like some sort of fantasy-themed Camel Archers, like vampire camels, right? Like, they're truly much more fearful than the ones you find in real life. Insane unit. 15 damage, provides the camel on ease, has the camel handling for 1.87 movement speed. By the way, I do not know why they get this. I think one thing we can definitely agree on, like, Echo Wing being a big busted issue is known, but I feel like camel handling makes sense for the melee unit. It makes zero sense for the archer. Because remember, that means the thing that should counter this is horsemen, right? But horsemen move at the same movement speed, so how do you gap close them? You can't. Wild unit, and this is just disintegrating everything. With such high base damage, nothing is safe in this area. Trade's now being intercepted, and I think we are close to a GG call here, guys. This is ugly. I mean, Diakusi's alive in the corner, right? But no one else is thriving, let alone even existing at this stage. You've got Popo trying to set up trade. You've got Green needing to rebolster trade. And you've got Teal building 3 TC Ayyabids. The Camel Archer is once again going to be a problem because remember, the movement speed difference is huge here. One Camel army cannot gap close. The other can easily chase. Man, he's getting such good trades as well. Remember, these units are cheaper than the Camel Lancers, right? He's picking at least a Camel Lancer and a Desert Raider every time he turns to fire. Knights, in the meantime, are going to try to intercept reinforcements and draw the attention. Desert Raiders are going to peel off to try and snipe this down, but that's the worst case situation. Remember, the Desert Raiders have no ranged armor here. Lumber able to continue the aggro. He's punishing the double TC, and now the men-at-arms are in. This is going to shut it all down. This is the carve through. This slice through to an inner dimension that they were looking for. There's no repair in this rift. Wow, game one going to the Vietnamese squad, it seems like. I mean, Diakusi, I think this is why English is his bane, not his boon. You give him this Civ, and he inherently plays towards that kind of greedy, hunker-down style. Now, credit to him, it's a strategic timing here, right? But I think it became predictable. They essentially avoided him until he dove Orange's base. Smart play, right? I think this is not just an issue of, like, oh my god, Diakusi likes to play English. I think this is an issue of English in 4v4s. They kind of need defensive maps to enable them to the point in the game where they're good. Either that or bare minimum an Abbey of Kings to help out your allies as kind of a support cast. Yeah, instead, I think this game, a bit rough. It's crazy as well. Before the remake, which by the way happened because Diakusi crashed, I think their game strat looked a lot better. They were contesting relics. They actually had aggro point with the Mongol player, but this is not it. Right? The Mongol player going for Silver Tree instead of aggroing continuously worried me. I think they got way too confident that they'd done enough when they blocked Kyo off of the Ford Gold. And it makes me wonder if they'd even scouted the back gold at that point in the game. Looks like they have now, but maybe back then they weren't aware. At this point, I think they're just probably starting to agree that this is done. Green just doesn't have an economy. He doesn't have a military. They don't have a hope. But there's a hope of recovery, folks. These are best of threes. So 2 games to get the win in the series. And I'm hoping we're going to see the Japanese boys strike back. Because they are a talented lot. We mentioned Popper before. Mizuumi we've seen in a few places. And Diakusi definitely known for achieving that top 10 in Season 8 in the 1v1 rankings. I think what we're really learning here is the Vietnamese take the team game seriously. To an unrivaled level almost. And here come the elephants! Oh no! What is going on here? Miyamika has just been waiting at home for this move from Diakusi. Camel Arch is now elited up, ready to yeet the Japanese out of this game. Once this army goes down, I think they'll accept it. The military difference is just unapproachable at this stage. 160 to 60. The eco, do I even need to say that number out loud? That is disgusting to look at. The Vietnamese squad looking scary to witness right now. Crazy though. It shows you the power of Cav Civs overall in team formats, guys. Like, this is a free Cav comp from the West Side team, right? Ghazi, Knights, and Camel Archers. I think something needs to change with the way that maps are designed in AoE 4 to fix this. Because the meta in 3v3s and 4v4s is most definitely Knight Civs. And you see why in this particular game. Absolutely dominant. Now even Kyo able to assist with his kind of like 2-legged little cavalry boys. But GG gets called. Really cool game to open the day. Let me know what you guys think of this. Comment down below if you want to see more of these kind of team tournaments. I know it's tough, and especially considering we had to have a disconnect, reconnect situation already. It's difficult to get these to work. I'm hoping, though, fingers crossed, maybe in the next 2 seasons we can get that reconnect function. Still, outcome the same. Japanese have to bend the knee, 1 game down, and now nothing but perfection if they want to stay alive in the upper bracket.